event icons live from IMEX Frankfurt. Very exciting times here, and we've got some of our first guests being joined by Ruud Janssen and Roel Frissen. And what's the official name of the company these days? Event Design?
Event Design Collective.
Collective.
The grown-up name of what was once known as a startup called Event Model Generation.
Event Model Generation. Okay, I remember that. And we go back a ways at this point to, we were just talking about it off the air, the Event Camp series. So that was, and so we were just going on the air. What were the dates of that again?
I think the first one that I went to, the first one.
Sorry, mic on.
Check 1, 2, 3.
Amateur host, some people's kids.
Amateur users, right? So we're not used to these fancy purple mics. So the first event camp we were sitting in a wine cellar in Basel, actually in Switzerland.
Right.
And you guys were in Minneapolis at Twin Cities, which was the second or third one, I think, after the one in New York.
It was pretty early, yeah.
Chicago, I think. So that must have been 2010, if I'm not mistaken, 2011 maybe. And in 2012, I made my way over to Minneapolis, I remember, and you guys were putting on the full production gamut. That was a lot of fun with Sam Smith and the whole crew that was.
I met a lot of people in the industry at that one
Yeah.
conference. We've talked about that. Bob from Event Mobi was there, and that was like the early on days of event apps, mobile apps. That was a big thing. Event apps.
The internet had just switched on.
Yeah,
right?
basically, yeah.
Well, like 20 years before,
the plumbing was working. All of that good stuff.
And then we went for karaoke, remember? And Sam Smith forgot his ID, and he didn't even make it in. He looked so young.
Sorry, Sam. So it was a good time, and then it wasn't too many years after when you and I sat down in a hotel bar in Minneapolis, and you started sketching this idea on the back of a napkin that wound up becoming the event design canvas. So why don't you tell folks that aren't familiar necessarily with that a little bit about the event design canvas?
Yeah. So Roel and I had been toying around a lot with using the business model canvas and the back of the napkin sketch that we had over a buffalo burger. I remember that in Minneapolis. Was actually some thinking that we'd been doing, some very primal thinking. It took us a good year to come up with this thing called what's now known as the event canvas. People use many different names, event design canvas. We've just coined it to event canvas now, trademarked it, so keep it simple. The canvas is what sheet music is to music. The event canvas is to events. That's the simple way of explaining it.
Yeah, and I can, for me, what was enlightening was this idea of taking into account all the stakeholders and saying, okay, what's going to make these people happy, and what's going to make these people happy, and these people, and not necessarily just the attendees, but all of the stakeholders involved in an event. And so I remember being just kind of fascinated with this idea of being able to sketch it out, quite literally, as to the pros and cons of how to design your event using this. So you guys put that kind of package together over the course of the next year or so. And as I recall, it's actually open source, isn't it? So you're actually able to use, anyone's able to use these techniques.
People can download it as for free under Creative Commons license. So that's important to mention. So it's non-commercial, it's non-attribute, and it's something we try to protect in a way, but also enable people to use it to the full extent. So it's not something we keep for our own company, but we believe in that distributing it to many people can help a lot of events to get better, to be better designed. So that's how we try to impact the world, change the world one event at a time.
So just to clarify on that, and please do correct me if I'm wrong, what that means then is so anyone who plans an event can download and use these tools, but if I was going to try and resell that as a supplier, then that wouldn't be allowed under the Creative Commons license.
Yeah, so we asked for attribution to know where the source came from, so other people can use the sheet music too. I think that's important. We have a community, an active community of about 9,000 users across the planet now. 1,600 are trained, 200 certified event designers. And the community has actually gone out and translated the few words that are still left on the canvas because, although it's very visual, you do need some guiding questions and some core concepts there, the 14 core building blocks, which have now been translated into 14 languages. And so if a language is not there for that respective user, we encourage them to tap us on the shoulder, and we've got a little /translation element on our website where people can go and translate all the fields on the canvases and then have it in their own language and get credit for that. What is important to us is that that there are no derivatives, meaning it took us a good year to come up, and probably the better part of 20 years before that, to come up with what the ingredients are. It's not by coincidence. unfortunately, we also live in a world where Creative Commons are not as, respected might be the wrong word, but Creative Commons mean that you have to have attribution to the source, no derivatives, meaning you don't move around one box and change it, put it upside down, and then say it's yours, because I think that would confuse the market. I think we're now in a position where universally people are using this. Organizations like IMEX use it to design their Gmbh through certified event designers. MPI uses it for the WC, the EMEC. The International Olympic Committee, United Nations. There's larger organizations beyond our industry that picked it up first because they needed this. Right? They're like, there must be a better way to crack the event design challenge and to make it less painful to own a meeting. And so after that adoption at first, we did need a lot of justification of that this is the right thing. I think now 7 years down the line, 6 years down the line, feels like 7. I think we're at a point where this is a respected kind of methodology. We call it the event design using the event canvas methodology. And the canvas is at the core of that design. So that's the final outcome of the narrative.
Maybe it's also good for the viewers to explain that actually consists of 2 basic elements, right? So it's a change of behavior. Successful events change behavior. And successful events change behavior for multiple stakeholders, right? So we have to analyze deeply multiple stakeholders. So the event canvas is 14 building block management template, where actually 12 of the 14 blocks are not about the event, right? Are about analyzing deeply the stakeholders, and that's. And
don't be afraid of the 14 building blocks things. It's remarkably easy.
Yeah, it's on one page, right? So it's very simple. However, it's a way of different way of thinking. Like what we use from design thinking is actually to get comfortable with the problem. Other than people in our industry who like to move away from the problem very quickly, where we say, well, no, let's get comfortable with it. Let's analyze it from different angles. Let's empathize with different users, different stakeholders, because an event is more complicated than any product, because it has multiple stakeholders. Everyone has a stake at that event and a different perspective at that event. So let us analyze that quite well before we throw solutions at the problem, because the solution is only good if it changes behavior in the right way. And we call those solutions, or potential solutions, we call those prototypes. So that changes the thinking in not giving the solution to the audience, not giving the solutions to the event owner, but giving prototypes, giving options. And people in the decision-making process need options instead of a yes or no binary option.
Very good. So what has been going on over the last couple of years? How has this evolved now, and where are you at today with the company?
So we've developed, because people have asked us, so it looks so easy when you guys do it. Can you teach us how to do that? So the first thing we did is wrote up the process into a facilitation kit, which is kind of a book with 55 steps that you go through, little micro steps that allow you to go through the process very simply. There's roll cards, so there's a little, so a team of people can have fun designing an event. So that's one thing we created first. Then we had people saying, well, can you teach us or take us through the ropes of how that works? So we have now developed the Event Design Certificate Program, which is a program we teach here at IMEX. We have a 3-year partnership with IMEX that this is the 3rd year, where we train in German and English people at Gmbh. And on the Tuesday morning, we have an hour of prototyping at graduation, which we just finished this morning. And another 60 people have now been trained and are part of the capacity of doing that. IMEX has been generous in supporting the capacity building exercise that we started talking about 4 years ago. We're going to expand that for the next 3 years also at IMEX Americas. So that's a unique opportunity to consume the level 1 training. We've now developed 3 levels of training. Actually, we're now developing a 5th one. So we're going, the level 3 is a 3-day residential program at a university where people can become students all over again, which is a lot of fun. And then they have a 6-month window in which they can go back and facilitate the process to prove that they know how to do that. And then the outcome gets peer reviewed by other certified event designers. So the new level we're building is actually something that we're going to launch in November, so we can't say too much about it. There's something in between that we've developed as a platform for the certified event designers, which is an online training version where the 10 modules in the methodology have been diced down. And the community that are now locked up into WhatsApp groups, we have 12 cohorts from the classes from San Diego, Montreal, Amsterdam, and now we're going to be adding Stockton University in Atlantic City. Now we want these groups of 20, 30 people to start interacting amongst the bigger group of certified event designers. And that platform is called the online training.etco.global, which is now in pilot. In June, we're going to launch that. So that's going to become available for people that can't or won't travel to IMEX, which is never a good idea, because you should be here, right? This is fun, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's also to add to that. That's the next step for people who are not willing to travel, who bought the book, who would like to know a little bit more, and then consume in 10 modules of 20 minutes the full methodology. But it's not application; it's theory, right? And we believe that ultimately, in application, in live situations, in live trainings, that's where the magic happens, because then you see it in action, and you see other people get it or not get it. Most of them get it. But in application, there's the magic.
All right, well, gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by. Where can folks find out more about the Design Canvas and the Collective?
So they can go to edco.global, edco.global. Go to eventcanvas.org if they like to download the canvas. You'll see the programs. If you want to see upcoming dates, it's edco.events.
All right.
Any of those three, or search #eventcanvas, and all sorts of stuff will pop up in your inbox.
Very good. Well, thank you so much.